Hi, my name is Roydoya. I am 35 years old and I am a breast cancer survivor. My journey started in 2018, shortly after the Christmas holidays, when I returned from Grand Turk from spending the Christmas holidays with my family. In early January 2018, I experienced some breast discharge from my left breast. Upon finding this discharge and having this discharge, I decided to call my mom and let her know, hey, something is going on. I have a discharge coming from my breast. But at the time, I basically wasn't sure exactly what was going on because I had a lot of stuff going on in both my personal and my professional life at the time. So I was already experiencing hair loss, rapid weight gain, and rashes on my skin. So I just thought this might have been another symptom, something else that was manifesting due to stress. So a little bit of time went by and it continued to occur. And my mom pressed on again and said, you need to get this checked out. So eventually I did get it checked out in, I think it was May 2018, after doing a self-examination at home where I found a lump. So at this time now I had breast discharge coming from the breast, and I had a lump that I discovered in the shower. So I definitely had to go in and see my primary health care provider. So I went in to see my primary care doctor, and we had a conversation, we did an examination, and I was booked in for an ultrasound. A few weeks later, I got my ultrasound results and had a discussion with my primary care doctor at my follow-up appointment, and I was told, okay, I was given a diagnosis of ductal dystocia. So this is something that, I could live with, nothing I needed to worry about. So at the time, I was only 31 years old, so I guess no one definitely could think what 31-year-old is going to have cancer at the time. So I kept it at the back of my mind for a bit, watching and waiting and saying, okay, what's going on? Should I really dismiss this or should I pay attention to it? So I decided to just keep an eye on it and see what it was really about. And a few more months passed and the discharge continued. It decided to become a dark reddish color. Sometimes I woke up in the mornings and just met stuff on my bed, and it was really concerning. Also, the lump that I had discovered also was getting a bit bigger. And for something that I was told I could live with, it's getting bigger, and the discharge is persisting. It really played a toll on my mind, and I went back in to see my primary care physician, and I was told, Doya, it is just, something going on with your ductal dystocia. Don't worry about it. I told the same thing again. So I went back home. In about November now, I was in the shower again. And I noticed that I bent down to pick up a bar of soap, and the left breast that was affected by the discharge and had the lump, it basically didn't move as I reached down to pick up the bar of soap that had fallen. This was already 6 p.m. in the evening. However, I quickly went down to the primary care department at the hospital and saw a physician there that booked me in for an urgent ultrasound, because at that time the mass had really grown big and it had calcified. I was told that it had calcified and I needed urgent attention. In addition to the calcification that evening, I noticed that there was a different texture that I really wasn't paying attention to. So that's when I noticed that I had a different texture on my breast as well. So the doctor at the time became concerned, and she booked me. She told me I needed to book myself for an urgent ultrasound. So I did that, and I was referred to the surgeon. And once I went to the surgeon this time, the same results came back saying, there's nothing to worry about. Basically, it's something that we'll monitor. The diagnosis hasn't changed. It's still ductal dystocia. Things kept on happening. The same symptoms continued to persist. My breast continued to change. It got basically deformed. I would put on my bra, and once I take it off, there would be a dent that would take a long time to basically move. The dent would take a while to dissipate. And I would continue going in to see my provider. And we had consistent ultrasounds every few months. That after I went in, so we had consistent ultrasounds. Basically now, between 2018 and my last ultrasound, that was in 2020. My last ultrasound before diagnosis was originally booked for March 2020. But of course, at that time, everywhere was shut down. Because March 30th, the hospital had shut down, everything shut down due to COVID. So I had to wait until I was rescheduled when things were safe for both myself and for the providers to see me. The appointment was rescheduled for the first week of July. So I did my ultrasound, and the moment the technician placed the instrument on my breast, they quickly lifted up and asked me the question, is there a history of cancer in your family? I asked, why? Because I started to remember every time I'm at these appointments, I'm asking questions, and I'm even asking if I can have a biopsy done. And they're like, don't worry about it. You don't need to have that. It's not something that is necessary, and it's not something that is really done for someone your age. Because I wanted to know if I needed to have a biopsy or a mammogram, but I didn't meet the age criteria for it. Now hearing on the table in the ultrasound room, someone asked, the lady asking me, do you have a history of cancer in your family? My mind is like, oh gosh, this can't be it now. So I said, not that I know of, because at the time I didn't know of anyone that was in my close family that had any form of cancer or breast cancer specifically. And I was told then, well, today you're not going to leave the hospital until you have both a biopsy and a mammogram done. As I said, this is 2020, COVID times. Everyone wasn't at the hospital at the time, so the radiologist had to be called in to see me. I had my mammogram done, I had my biopsy done, and a week later, I got a call and was asked if I can come in because my results were back. So I went in to see my surgeon, and I was given my diagnosis. I was told it was breast cancer. So at 33 years old, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And based on the information that I was given, I thought that I had stage 1 breast cancer. Things moved pretty quickly after that. I was told that, you have to seek urgent care, you need to go away. So things were organized with NHIP, and I left for Jamaica on the 20th of July, 2020. In Jamaica, what I thought was stage 1 with a small 2 centimeter mass, I thought it was that, but I found out different once I arrived in Jamaica. I found out that I had an almost 10 centimeter mass, 9.77 centimeter mass, and that I was not at stage 1, but at stage 3. So of course, that was something hard to hear, but I knew that I had to, work through it and do everything that I had to do to be well, because, I have 2 young children that are dependent on me. I knew that I needed to do all I had to do to get myself well. Also, that this whole thing, me traveling to Jamaica to seek treatment, to see the doctor, that was definitely not planned. My summer was not supposed to go that way. I had plans of going to Jamaica, but not to see any physicians. That was the summer my sister was to get married. So I told myself, oh my gosh, things are going quickly now. I'm here, she's there. She's like, oof, she's getting married next month and I'm supposed to be there. What's going to happen? Is treatment going to happen for you soon? What's going on? Because of the advanced stage of my cancer, I had to start chemotherapy immediately. So I had something that's called adjuvant chemotherapy. So it's chemotherapy that is done prior to surgery. And this was done because my surgeon had said that it is not safe to operate on me at the time. They could have operated on me, but it would not have been in my best interest, to have that operation done at that time. So whilst in Jamaica, I immediately started chemotherapy. And of course, my sister's wedding now, so at the back of my mind, I'm like, oh gosh, is my hair gonna fall out? Me having a conversation with my hair, telling my hair, you need to stay in place and wait until this wedding is over. You could drop out after that. The day of my sister's wedding, I was there trying to comb up my hair, and my hair started to fall out a bit. Still trying to tell this hair, stick on, you just have to be good for the photos. And I made it through that day. And I returned back home shortly after the wedding and continued my treatment here in Profile. One of the hardest things I've had to do in this journey of mine, once I had initially returned back from Jamaica after starting my chemotherapy there, and of course having to continue here in Provo, is have a conversation with my children. I spoke to them. My son was a little bit younger at the time, so he didn't understand exactly what was going on. But my daughter, when I told her that Mommy is very sick, Mommy has to see the doctors a lot. You're going to be seeing a lot of changes with Mommy. It's like, Mommy, what's going on? I said, Mommy has cancer. What is cancer, Mommy? It's just something that Mommy's going through. Where is it? I said, Mommy has a cancer called breast cancer, so it affects me right here. So she said, okay. Little did I know, she went to the world of YouTube University and pulled up videos that was educating her about breast cancer. And then she came back to me as crying, and she's like, Mommy, are you going to die? So that was extremely hard, me hearing that from her and me trying, to keep my composure and to not break down in front of her. I said, you know what? No, baby, Anaya, Mommy is not going to die. Mommy is going to be here for a very, very, very long time. So you don't have to worry about anything. Mommy's not going anywhere. Chemotherapy lasted until January 6th, 2021. And after that, I returned back to Jamaica again for my operation, where I had a double mastectomy. That was elective for me to remove the right breast because I only had cancer in my left breast. But I didn't think I really wanted reconstruction. And I just didn't think I wanted to do another surgery, and I thought that might have been the best option for me. And I didn't want to do any further operations. So I went totally flat on February 5th, 2021. So that's almost a year ago now. After my operation, I returned home, and there was a few weeks in between while I healed up, and I returned not to Jamaica this time, but I went to the Bahamas afterwards to continue my treatment. This time it was radiotherapy, where I had 6 weeks of radiotherapy done from Monday to Friday to ensure that everything is okay post-surgery. So my body was irradiated, and after that, after the time, I got to ring my bell in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah! Yes! That's a way to go! Yes, big good.
And in my mind, at that point, after all of my treatment, that's when I said, yes, I am now cancer-free. I am now a survivor. I've gone through all of my treatments. It's still a daily thing that I have to do now. I have to take hormonal therapy for the next 5 years, but that's something that I have to do in order to survive and to be here for my family. Then that's it, But what's most important for me to say to anyone that is wondering what they should do, it is very important to do self-examinations. Yeah, it's best to get to know your body. And if you think that something is going off or something is wrong, regardless of what you are told, you still have a responsibility to yourself to continue to check up on it, because you have to advocate for yourself. You have to be persistent in getting, seeking attention, and making sure that you get serviced and receive treatment if you need to. But it is very, very, very important for you to not think that, oh, I'm too young for this. Cancer doesn't have an age. It can affect anyone. I definitely didn't expect for it to affect me. It's something that it doesn't only affect the person that is going through the treatment, but it does have a toll on the entire family of the person that is affected. So it is very important, again, do your self-examinations. I wished I had done a bit more and was consistent with doing my self-examinations prior. But that is very important. And if you do see something wrong with your body or something that is different, sound an alarm in your head and seek medical attention for it. It can definitely save your life. If I wasn't consistent with checking in with the doctor, I might not be here today. So that is my advice to anyone that is concerned or for themselves, or might even have someone else that they can encourage to check up on themselves. And I have a lot of thanks, and I'm very grateful to my support system. You know, my parents, my siblings were there for me, my in-laws were there for me. It's just, I had a really, really good support system. Even now, you know, if I feel a way, or I guess if people say Roydoya is catching an attitude, if something's going on with me, you know, I might not be the easiest person to deal with, but they were definitely there and saw me through it, and are still seeing me through it today. You know, either when I'm having mood swings, if I'm having these hot flashes that, according to the doctors, are a good indicator of life for me. Anything like that, you know, they are definitely there. I know it was particularly hard for my sister, having to watch me go through this, with her being a physician and me not reaching out to her earlier to tell her, you know, what was going on with me. I didn't want to alarm her, so I kept all of my visits to myself, and she was only aware of anything that was going on with me the day I found out my diagnosis, when I gave her a call and I told her what I had just heard. My mom, she's just very busy. Most people know who my mom is, you know, and she's the one, she's always moving here, there, and everywhere. And for her to take the time and be able to have my children, it was really, really good. And then for her to actually take time out and travel with me to Jamaica for my operation and be right there with me, that was awesome as well. So I'm very appreciative to my family here in Turks and Caicos, my family in Jamaica, and my family in the Bahamas. It's really, really good and really important for you to have a very good support system when you're going through something as serious as cancer. And I definitely had, I still have a very good support system.